Oh, hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So today we are going to be talking about what is MS, and I'm going to be talking about my own signs and symptoms and how it can vary from person to person due to your country's location or whatever it is. But I'm going to be talking specifically about myself, and I know that there are many people out there, even though we are not in the same continent, they might be able to relate. So what is MS? According to Google, multiple sclerosis is a disease that causes breakdown of the protective coverings of the nerves. But my neurologist will say, oh, wait, it's beyond that. It is an autoimmune disease in connection with your brain that makes your antibodies fight against your body. That's what my neurologist will say. But to me, with everything I've been experiencing, I think MS is basically everything you can think of. It is way beyond just your bodies fighting against themselves. I mean, your antibodies, fighting against your body. Yeah, because it goes beyond the physical well-being alone. It affects your emotional, your physical, your mental, everything about you is what MS affects. So MS is in my own language, in my own word, in my own terms, MS is everything. It is everything you can think of. So I'm going to be talking about my symptoms, my signs, and everything that I go through as an MS warrior. So let me start from the beginning, from the very beginning. As an MS warrior, I experience headaches. These are my symptoms basically. I experience neck pain. Yeah, this one is like, it doesn't even go at all. Like, it's just there. And then there's a lot of mood swings. Yeah, and of late it's been giving me irregular periods. I don't know, I think that's majorly because of the steroids that we use to suppress the actions of the antibodies to reduce the lesions in the brain. So it causes headaches, it causes nausea, it causes mood swings, it causes depression, it causes everything, nystagmus, lazy eyes, blood visions, double visions, seizures, everything that you can think of. Body pains, itching, yeah, depending on the individual. These are just some of the symptoms that I can remember right now that it causes for me, and it's a whole lot. My pain threshold went from like 100 to 0. I used to be someone who likes to prefer injections to medications, but right now, no, I would take the medications before I think of taking the injections because of the pains. I can't withstand the pains anymore. So it's basically everything. I mean, it's not something that one can easily deal with. And yes, another important thing, it affects your mobility. Oh my god, that is one thing that it has taken away from me. I mean, yeah, I can still move around and do a lot of things right now, but once the tiredness is there, come on, there's nothing I can do about it. I mean, 1 minute you're active, the next one you're just so tired, and I feel like many people cannot relate when we say we are tired, because they feel like it's the regular tiredness. They're like, oh, you're tired, then you should still be able to manage to do this, to do that. But you're like, no, my tiredness is not that kind of tiredness, it's on another level. I mean, don't you understand? Don't you get it? But many people cannot relate because they don't feel what we feel. If you're an MS warrior, going through MS, don't forget to subscribe, because what we do here, what I do here, is basically talk about MS and my lifestyle revolving around MS. So guys, let's talk about diagnosis. So if you are experiencing any of the symptoms that I talked about, please go get yourself checked. Okay, go get yourself tested. So depending on the country you live in, so I'm just going to talk about myself, like I said, how my diagnosis came about. I had to do 2 different tests. Okay, so I did the MRI, the whole spine, and then the brain MRI, and then going forward for further investigations, I had to do the spinal tap, the SAP. I think that's what it's called. So those 2 procedures, an MRI is basically you just, they strap you to the machines and then they put you in the machines, and then it's just like an X-ray but more modernized. But for the spinal tap, my God, that was painful, and I think that was the beginning of my backaches that I am still experiencing till today, because I had to be given epidural and just to numb the place, and there was this long needle that was injected to my back to tap some of the spinal fluid. Yeah, so that's basically what spinal tap is all about. So I did that, and then I did the MRI. So, and that was what was used to confirm my MS. So really something big at first, because before I got diagnosed, I had already started having some symptoms. But where I come from, everything is malaria. Sorry, if you're Nigerian, you would relate. So everything is malaria, but then I knew that I was going through something beyond malaria. So I had to go get further tested, and then it was discovered that I had MS. I'm still going to talk about the story of how everything came about, but definitely not in this episode. So just follow me, subscribe if you have not done that. So, and if you enjoy the conversations, yeah, don't forget to use the subscribe button. Yeah, thank you. So I forgot to mention in my symptoms, in my everyday activities, this one too is very, very important. Everybody tends to have a slight memory loss, but you see, when it comes to MS, this one is different. It's on another level. I mean, when you think that you have it all figured out and you don't write it down, you don't put it somewhere, 1 minute you remember, you're like, oh, I'm going to say this, but the next you're forgotten. You can't even coordinate the words. Like, forgetfulness is now part of my everyday life. So I tend to apologize a lot if I am to do something for you and then I have forgotten that I had to do it, or we're having a conversation and I wanted to say something and the next thing I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't remember what. So another one that I often go through, that I often experience, is the slurred speech. And this can come anytime. I mean, it can either be slurred or I can begin to stutter. I mean, naturally I don't stutter, but I don't know where it comes from. But the next thing you're just stuttering and you're like, I. But then that's not who I am. But it's just one of the things that I ended up with because of MS. So if you are experiencing any of the symptoms, like I said earlier, in this video that I have talked about, please go get yourself tested. Go get yourself thoroughly checked. If you are from Nigeria like I am, not everything is malaria, not everything is typhoid. Please go get yourself tested. Let's quickly talk about the types of MS. There are basically 4 types of MS, which is the remitting, relapsing phase. This phase is mostly the phase that almost everyone who is first diagnosed is. This phase, with this phase, you can easily manage and maneuver life. Like, you, depending on how long, you might not get flares or relapses as often as some people do, and depending on how well you manage it by yourself too. Some people can go for months, years without any relapse. And then there is the secondary progressive phase, which is basically like the second phase, where those that are there have severe symptoms, like they have passed the remitting, relapsing phase, and there they are probably on the wheelchair, but they are still able to do stuffs by themselves. They're still able to do 1 or 2 things by themselves, and some might not even be on the wheelchair. Some might just be with the aid of a walking stick or something. Then there is the primary progressive stage MS, which people with this in this phase have worsened symptoms already. They might already have lost a lot of things. I don't know, maybe not being able to walk, maybe not being able to talk, maybe, I don't know, but it says that people in this phase have lost a lot of body functions. So, and then there is the last stage is the progression relapsing. The last type, sorry, is the progression relapsing MS, which is like the last phase for anybody that is diagnosed with MS. There are about, sources have it that there are about 5% of people diagnosed with MS that get to this stage. So, like, maybe from the primary progressive, some people scale through, maybe they're able to manage their diet and all of that, so they scale through. They don't even move to the secondary relapsing stage, and they eventually, manage it, and they don't even get flares or whatever anymore till they are old, and old age kicks in. And but then those are the 4 types of MS. So let's talk about managing MS. Like I said earlier, MS actually has no cure. It can only be managed. So one of the major proven ways to manage your MS is through exercise and your diet. Yes, you need to know what works for you in terms of exercises and in terms of your food, in terms of what you consume. Most of us are always on supplements. I know that because I'm always giving supplements, and if at all I'm going to skip any other thing, I dare not skip my supplements. So you should be mindful of your exercise. Try to exercise your body, day-to-day activities, and then your diet. There's sometimes you consume some things and then you realize that your body is gradually breaking down, and then there's sometimes that you consume some things, you realize that, oh, I'm more energetic, I think this works for me and I should avoid this. So you should know what you should consume, which are basically the most important things as regards MS. And check yourself often. If you have a new symptom, do not hesitate to call your neurologist. And also, I know it can be tough, it can be a very daunting state to be in. Seek support. Yeah, there are so many support groups out there, either on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. A place like this too, you can seek support here. I will definitely do what I can to help you. So seek support, join support groups. Support groups have a way of, brightening you up when you see that, oh, I'm not the only one going through this. And there sometimes you might not even need to reach out to your specialist when you get to know that, okay, I'm not the only one having these symptoms. It's just the new one, and means that I'm probably in this phase. So always note your new symptoms and do not skip your supplements. So that will be all for now on today's episode. So before I go, let me quickly plug you guys to this perfume brand on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat. It's called Aroma Audacity. You should check them out. They sell every kind of perfumes that you can imagine, be it copy, be it oils, be it fragrance oils, be it diffuser oils. Just check them out, and I promise you, don't forget to join their Telegram groups if you are looking for something to do as a side also, like a drop shipper, to get amazing discounts on their products. So if you have not subscribed, please don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. That'll be all for now. Bye.